Okay, so this is what the front camera video, the selfie camera of the Samsung Galaxy A11 looks like in a very darkly lit room. Now, as you can see that the picture quality is not too good, but then as you gradually get into like a good source of light, it looks okay. It looks okay. It's not like the best, in terms of image quality and all that, video quality and all that. But hey, if you are purchasing this phone, you should know that you are purchasing this phone not because of the camera quality or the audio quality, but you are purchasing this phone primarily because one, it's cheap, two, it has a good display, three, it has good battery and a fast charging adapter, and more. But all these and more coming up next in this full review of the Samsung Galaxy A11. If you like this intro, press like. If you're new to my channel, hit on the subscribe button, turn on all notifications because I do mobile phone reviews, mobile app reviews, and I bring to you affordable gadget reviews to help you make an informed decision when you're making your next purchase. So if you like that kind of content, hey, click on the subscribe button, turn on all notifications so you don't miss any episode. You can clearly see that the video doesn't have any kind of image stabilization, but I said this is not the reason why you would buy this phone. Let's look at the reasons coming up next.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Today we are going to take a detailed review of one of the cheapest Samsung phones on the market, which is still going to sell way more units than the best Samsung has to offer, which is the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Now make sure you stick to the end of this video because there's a really interesting question of the day that I do not want you to miss. Now, in my intro, I mentioned that if you do intend to buy this phone, it is most likely because you want an affordable phone with a good battery and not because you want a phone with like excellent cameras and a very powerful performance. So once we have that clearly understood, let us look at why the Samsung Galaxy A11 will be one of the best-selling phones of the year 2020. But before we can do that, let us take a step back in time to the year 2019. The predecessor of the Samsung Galaxy A11, which was the Samsung Galaxy A10, was the sixth most sold phone in the world in 2019. In fact, in the list of the top 6, about 4 of the phones were Samsung phones, and none of them was a flagship phone. All of them were mid-range and budget phones selling from between $80 to $400. Now that says a lot because most often reviewers tend to focus more on the glamorous phones. You know, those phones which get like a launch event and all the great features. But the reality on the ground is not everyone can afford a $1,000 phone. Most people will need a good phone which will last them at least 3 years, can make calls, download apps, and watch the occasional TikTok videos. I bought this phone in Ghana for $770, but you can get it on Amazon from $140 to $180. So I'm going to leave links to where you can get this at the best price in the description below. First of all, let us look at the design of the phone. Now this one is made of plastic at the back and glass in front. And though it is made of plastic, it has some weight to it. At the back of the device are the cameras and a fingerprint sensor. On the right hand side, you'll find the volume control buttons and the power button. This phone has a space for a 3.5mm earphone jack at the top. And at the bottom of the device, you will find your USB-C charging port and a microphone. Like I said, this is a phone targeted at people who have more than one SIM card but do not want to purchase multiple phones. So you can use 2 SIMs, and it even has expandable storage options. There's another Samsung Galaxy phone which looks exactly like the A11 called the Samsung Galaxy M11, and my good friend Delppy made a review of that phone on his channel, so I'm going to leave a link to that in the description so you can compare the two. Now let us look at the display of the phone. This device has a 720p HD display. A lot of tech reviewers seem to like OLED displays because of the kind of rich colors you get, but I don't really care much about that. For me, what is most important is that watching content on this looks good. And if you should crack the screen, it will not cost you an arm and a leg to replace it. Very important. So buy this phone, especially if you are buying it as a gift for your parents who are not too tech savvy, or your brother who has completed high school and needs a phone to text his baby girl, at midnight and all that. You can also buy it for your business if you own a business and need to give phones to your workers for data entry or for administrative purposes which require a smartphone. This phone comes with 32 gigs of storage, which is plenty for administrative duties and for sending WhatsApp messages and responding to Instagram messages for your business. Buy it for your social media needs. It even has radio so that you can listen to news and keep yourself up to date when the lights go off. Now, speaking of lights going off, you do not need to worry about the battery on this phone. It has a huge 4000 milliampere battery, and in my time of use, in about a week, I charged it just once. Now, for you, it might vary because of your kind of use for the phone, but for me, that was the experience I had. Now, the good thing is that it comes with a fast charging adapter, so you can quickly charge it to a good level before the electricity company takes your lights out. If you live in a country like Ghana or Nigeria, the Samsung Galaxy A11 has 2 gigs of RAM, and that is also pretty okay. If you're someone who has used a more powerful phone, you will feel that this phone is kind of slow, but if you have no other phone to compare it with, this is the best phone you need. Now, this phone has cameras, but I'm not going to go too much into details here. For the price, they are pretty okay. If you want a phone with a more powerful camera, I'll suggest you go in for the Samsung Galaxy A51, A71, or the Nova 5T. So I'm going to leave links to all those phones in the description box as well. And I also have reviews and comparisons for all the phones mentioned. Now, this phone comes with Android 10, which is the latest version of Android as at the time of making this video. And within a few hours of using it, I had the latest software updates from Samsung. So that is a good thing that Samsung is going to continue to push updates to this device. But speaking of Samsung software, you're going to find a lot of Samsung apps already installed on this phone, and this is bloatware. I am not a fan of bloatware, but if you can live with that, then I would highly recommend you get this phone. Remember, this phone is going to be one of the top 10 phones people will purchase this year. So if you are still not convinced about buying this phone, buy it. Or alternatively, get a Samsung Galaxy A51 or the Nova 5T, links in the description below. Let me know your thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy A11 in the comments below. Now, the question of the day: what was your first phone you ever used, and at what point in your life did you get that phone? For me, the first phone I used was when I completed senior high school, and it was a Samsung phone, like those Samsung phones with a green and black screen. Like, it wasn't a colored phone, it was a green and black screen, and the ringtone was a frog croaking. Let me know in the comments below what your first phone was and what age or what stage in your life you had your first phone. Thanks, Bebre.